Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Doomsday Mother, Laurie Vallow, Chad Daybell, and the End of an American Family, by John Glatt. Narrated by Shaun Grindell. Prologue. Sunday, January 26th, 2020. Newlyweds Chad and Laurie Daybell didn't appear to have a care in the world as they left their luxurious rented condo for an afternoon at the beach. They were honeymooning on the beautiful Hawaiian island of Kauai and enjoying another perfect day in paradise. Laurie, a strikingly beautiful 46-year-old blonde, wore large sunglasses, a blue swimsuit, and a beige cover-up. Chad, 5 years older, sported a baggy blue t-shirt, beach shorts, and flip-flops. They were an odd-looking couple, with Laurie appearing somewhat out of place with her dumpy new husband. It was a 25-mile drive to the ritzy Kauai Beach Resort, where they had spent most afternoons sunbathing and swimming. They were almost there when a Kauai police car with flashing lights pulled over their rented black Ford Explorer on Kuhio Highway. They were escorted into the resort's parking lot, where more than a dozen armed police and detectives were waiting. "Step out," ordered a Kauai police sergeant. "We have a search warrant for you guys, your car, and your belongings." Laurie calmly stepped out of the car, unfazed, as the officer handed her 2 search warrants. Chad looked visibly nervous. He was ordered to sit in a police SUV while their vehicle was searched. Laurie took her time, though, reading the search warrants for their rental car and condo, before being escorted into the back of a separate police car. A few minutes later, as they sat across from each other in parallel police vehicles, Chad mournfully stared at his new wife, put his hand on the window and mouthed, "I love you." That day in the parking lot was the culmination of a massive nationwide search for Laurie and Chad Daybell. 2 months earlier, they had gone on the run after lying to police in Rexburg, Idaho, about the whereabouts of Laurie's 7-year-old autistic son JJ and teenage daughter Tylee. The children had literally disappeared off the face of the earth the previous September, and police feared for their safety. "It is astonishing that rather than work with law enforcement to help us locate her own children," read a Rexburg police press release from December 30th, 2019, "Laurie Vallow has chosen instead to leave the state with her new husband." In the couple's wake, they'd left behind a trail of highly suspicious deaths. Their respective former spouses, Charles Vallow and Tammy Daybell, as well as Laurie's brother Alex and third husband Joe Ryan. The story of the missing children made global headlines, with JJ's and Tylee's faces appearing everywhere. No one could believe that their mother could possibly be so coldly indifferent about her children's welfare. Then came the strange revelations that Chad and Laurie believed they were gods, leading an army of chosen ones to survive the end of the world. They were also on a divine mission to rid the world of evil zombies, constantly being revealed to Chad by his spirit guides on the other side. A prodigious author of more than 24 books on what he claimed was the fast-approaching Doomsday, Chad was viewed as a gifted prophet by his legion of followers. "I don't fictionalize any of the events portrayed," he wrote in his 2017 autobiography, Living on the Edge of Heaven. "My torn veil allows information to be downloaded into my brain from the other side. The scenes I am shown are real events that will happen." Laurie, a 5 times married devout Mormon and mother of 3, had been an avid fan of Chad's books for years. When she finally met him at a 2018 Preppers, preparing for the End Times conference, he informed her that they had been married many times before in previous lives, that they had been anointed by God to gather the 144,000 people who had survived the Armageddon that Chad forecast would happen on July 22nd, 2020. The day before police pulled them over in Hawaii, Laurie had been served with an order from an Idaho court, compelling her to produce JJ and Tylee within 5 days or face arrest. Now, as police searched their SUV, half a dozen reporters, including a team from NBC's Dateline, were on the edge of the parking lot videoing the proceedings. At around 3:30 p.m., police winched the couple's rented SUV to a tow truck and informed them they were free to leave. Laurie was allowed to take away some personal belongings, including a plastic Ziploc bag containing thousands of dollars in cash. East Idaho news reporter Nate Eaton, on assignment from Rexburg, Idaho, approached the couple, holding a large microphone, as his colleague Eric Grossarth shot video. "Laurie," shouted Eaton, "can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids?" "No comment," replied Laurie glibly as she grabbed Chad's hand and led him away. "They've been missing for 4 months," Eaton continued. "You have nothing to say? You're over here in Hawaii?" Receiving no answer from Laurie, Eaton turned his attention to Chad, who was anxiously clenching his jaw. "Chad, where are Laurie's kids? What happened to your wife, Tammy? Why have you guys been in Hawaii so long? There are people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you just give us answers?" "That's great," quipped Laurie, nonchalantly flashing a cold smile as the couple headed into the resort. Part 1. Laurie. 1. The Cheerleader. Laurie Noreen Cox was born on June 26, 1973 in Rialto, California, the 5th child of Barry and Janice Cox. Their eldest, Stacy Lynn, had been born 7 years earlier, followed by 2 sons, Alexander Lamar in 1968 and Adam Lane a year later. A daughter, Laura Lee, was born on August 7, 1971, but tragically died at the age of 6 weeks. 4 years later, Janice gave birth to Summer Nouvelle, completing the family. The Cox family had deep roots in Rialto, named after the bridge in Venice and just 56 miles east of Los Angeles. Barry was a successful life insurance underwriter with political aspirations. In March 1974, he had actively campaigned for a vacant seat on the Rialto City Council. "I would like to see more large-range city planning," read his campaign statement. "I support programs that benefit the needs of the youth and the elderly, and want to reduce all unnecessary spending." Prior to the election, Cox, then 33, was profiled in the San Bernardino County Sun, which highlighted his Mormon credentials. A lifelong member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS, he served as a missionary in England in the early 1960s. Although he failed to win a seat on the city council, Barry was appointed the 1974 Beneficial Life Insurance Man of the Year for selling over $1 million of insurance. He won the award again the following year, and his bosses took out an advertisement in the San Bernardino County Sun to publicly congratulate him. In 1980, 7-year-old Laurie, known by the family as Lolo, started at Trapp Elementary School. She was slightly overweight with blonde hair and blue eyes, her natural charm and affability drawing people to her like a magnet. In 3rd grade, she became best friends with Rose Vaughn, not her real name, whose parents knew Barry and Janice Cox. The 2 girls soon became inseparable, and Rose was always at the Cox's house in Sycamore Avenue, where she got to know Laurie's parents and siblings well. "We were together all the time," said Rose. "Laurie was always very, very sweet. She was kind and cared about everybody." The Cox family lived in a large house in the ultra-exclusive El Rancho Verde Country Club, across from the 18-hole golf course. Laurie and her 4 siblings were raised in affluence and always had the best of everything. "Laurie grew up spoiled," said Rose. "Her parents were well off and bought the kids everything they wanted." The Coxes attended the Redlands, California Temple in Redlands, where Laurie and her siblings were all active in the children's program. But Rose, who was not Mormon, noticed that the Coxes were far more flamboyant than other big LDS families in Rialto, and not particularly religious. Her family did not act Mormon, Rose explained. They went to church occasionally, but it wasn't like they were super devout. Rose's mother was a teacher and strict, so nothing had prepared her for Laurie's unconventional parents. Janice favoured high heels, tight leopard skin pants, short, tight tops, bleached blonde hair and freshly done nails. They would leave all the kids alone and go to Hawaii for the weekend, said Rose. They were not present. Laurie's parents also did not believe in taxes and would battle the IRS for decades. In 2019, Barry self-published a manifesto entitled How the American Public Can Dismantle the IRS, dedicating it to all freedom-loving USA citizens. The reader will learn the American public has been brainwashed or indoctrinated by IRS propaganda, wrote Cox, which is used as a weapon of fear to scare the hell out of every American. Outspoken at social gatherings, Barry Cox would often argue that taxes were illegal and that the IRS was a criminal organization.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?